Hi everyone. So today I thought we could do a bit of sketchbook painting. I love sketchbooks. There's literally no pressure. You can just paint whatever you like, take them out and about with you, and no one's necessarily going to see them. So it doesn't matter how you do. So I've got an Etchr sketchbook, A5. It's their Perfect brand. And it's got 300 GSM cold press paper, which is brilliant. It will take so much water and paint. And I've tried quite a few sketchbooks. This is my favourite. So we'll have a little flick through and then we'll do a small landscape painting with a bit of a sunset theme to it. Something nice and simple. Okay. So I've had this book probably since about January this year and I've nearly finished it. I think I've got maybe 3 pages left. So it's taken me quite a while to get through. But it's got just a mixture of different landscapes, which are my favourite things to paint. So this one's Nottingham Castle. It's the little gatehouse at Nottingham. Then this one was a virtual sketches challenge on Instagram. Some trees, me playing around with some coloured pencils, like a little misty landscape. Then some more challenges. So this would be draw daily together. But I really love the paper. It's just such good quality. You really can't beat it. I've tried quite a few different sketchbooks now, and some of them just don't hold the paint or all of the water very well. It tends to sit on the top, which can be challenging, especially when you're out and about because you want to just do something really quickly. That was Weston-super-Mare on the beach. I got sand in all of my paint. This one was a little one in Birmingham of Bidford on Avon when I was camping. So today I thought we would paint this little sunset landscape. Nice and quick and easy, and let's get started. So for this sketchbook painting, I'm using a reference photo which came from a lovely lady on the Facebook group, Landscape Reference Photos for Artists. And it's from Georgian Bay in Ontario, Canada. And I just really loved the colours and the reflections of the sunset in the water beneath with the clouds and the trees. So I really wanted to try and capture those colours. Today I'm just using my set of pans, which are the majority of them are Winsor & Newton. And I've started off putting in some cadmium yellow for the centre of the sunset, and then also some cadmium red. Now I'm also bringing in some cerulean blue because I want the colour from behind the clouds to be quite a pale blue. So this showing that there's not really much colour left in the sky. And I've already wet my paper. So I've wet the sky area and I've also wet the area where the water is beneath, just so we get a bit more of a softer edge to all of our colours. We've got some really lovely colours reflected in the water beneath, so I'm going to try and replicate the colours for the sky in the water area, and I'll put some music on because you don't need me to talk you through this bit. Now I'm going to mix up some ultramarine blue with some burnt sienna so I can get a bit of a richer, darker colour, so I can start to bring in some cloud sections. I'll start off by doing these in the sky area, and then I'll replicate those to a certain extent in the water beneath. So the brush I'm using for the majority of the painting today for the sky and the water is a number 5 mop brush. It gives me a nice big stroke when I need it, but also has a really nice point to it as well. So you can do some feathering, some tiny little cloud sections. So I'm just mixing up a little bit of a darker mixture, using some more ultramarine, burnt sienna, and a tiny bit of yellow just to take the purple edge off it. And I'm just bringing those clouds in from the right hand side. So this mixture is slightly darker, so it's giving us slightly darker clouds. So always best when you're doing clouds, start off quite light, but not too watery, because you've also already got water on the paper. But just a lighter mixture to get the body of your clouds, and then a slightly darker, thicker mixture to then give those sort of definition and texture to the clouds. So again, I'm mixing up quite a dark paint, still putting in a little bit of the yellow in with the ultramarine and the burnt sienna, just to take we don't want it too purple in the sky. We want it to be more of a grey, so it neutralises it. And then I'm using the very tip of the brush just to put some little wispy cloud effects in. So starting on the left-hand side, I want these clouds to be a little bit more wispy and not quite so prominent as the ones on the right. So these are a little bit lighter, dabbing off a bit of the paint on my brush and just sweeping it across to give a bit of a lighter effect. I really enjoy painting clouds. I mean, I didn't when I first started. They were my nemesis. I hated them. But I was so desperate to be able to paint a really nice cloudy sky in a landscape. I had to practice for ages. And I think that's the only way to get to become good at painting clouds. I mean, I'm not good, but I'm probably where I think I should be at the moment for the amount of practice I've put in. But yeah, it just takes practice and not too much water. If in doubt, put less water. So I've just sprayed off, used my spray bottle to dampen the water area beneath. I've probably sprayed it a little bit too much because, as you can see, I'm putting the paint in and it's not really showing very much at the moment. So I'm mixing up a thicker, darker mixture of the paint. Quite dry, not a lot of water on my brush at all. Bit more burnt sienna to warm it up. And some more ultramarine. And just keep going until you've got a consistency that you're happy with. And then just test it on your paper. And as you can see, the painting is starting to take shape already now. We've got quite a bit of colour, we've got some cloud formations. So this painting isn't going to take very long. And that's what's great about using your sketchbook, because sometimes you don't have time for a big long painting, but you just want to be creative, you want to produce something. And yeah, that's what they're perfect for. Maybe that's why Etchr call them, it's their perfect sketchbook. I don't know. But it is a perfect sketchbook with brilliant paper. I'll pop the link to where I got my Etchr sketchbook from. I don't get a commission or anything, but just in case you want to go and buy one as well. So I'll put the link in the description. So I'm just putting in some slightly darker shadows on the left-hand side, because that's where a lot of our foliage and the bank up against the river will be. So there will be some darker shadows there in a darker area. Now I've taken my number 6 round, just because I've got most of the large sections in now that I want to paint, and we're going to get a little bit more detailed. So starting off doing the section of trees at the back. So on the far, so these are going to look like they're more in the distance, they're more at the back of the painting. so they can be really rough. And I'm not putting an awful lot of colour in these, so there isn't any green. I'm sticking purely with our dark mixture, but warming it up a little bit more with some burnt sienna. And then just some little straggly marks with my brush, just to give the suggestion of something on that side further away in the distance. Now that I've built up most of the dark areas in that section, I was then just putting a little bit of a shadow underneath in the water, just to make sure it looks a little bit more realistic. So I'm still using my number 6 round brush because we are being a little bit more detailed now, and I'm going to start mixing up some greens for the left hand side. So I'm actually using Hooker's green to begin with, and as I go I'm going to be mixing kind of different variations of greens so it doesn't all look one single colour. So I've gone for the Hooker's green again, added a little bit of ultramarine to that to give a more bluey green, and then just brushing in some sections of that as well. A little bit more blue, so just making sure that I vary the mixture so we've got a nice variety on that left hand side. Then adding some burnt sienna to it to make it a bit darker as we bring in the back section of the bank, and then running that down so that it creates a little bit of a shadow against the edge. Now this doesn't have to be, it hasn't got to be exact, and it hasn't got to be exactly as I'm painting it. I thought it might be useful with this section for you to see how I'm mixing up the different colours, because I'm not mixing up these colours or using them directly from the pan, I should say. I'm mixing up different variations and changing how those colours look. So I've added in some yellow ochre, some ultramarine, with the Hooker's green, just to give us some variety. And if you can see from where I'm using my brush, I am actually varying how I use it as well. So sometimes I'm using the tip, sometimes I'm using the side of it to dry brush it across. And then I'm also still adding in different colours into the wet paint that's already there, just to give that variety. And then adding in a little bit more shadowed areas underneath with the green, just so it doesn't look too dark. A little bit later on we'll put some more pronounced reflections in that side of the water area, but I'll do that after I've painted the trees that are going to be on that side. So a little bit more green again, and I'm going to start putting in one large tree. So just varying how I use the brush on the paper. I think I watched a video the other day and someone called it, was it scrumbling or scrambling? Scrumbling, I think, where you're not painting in all of the individual leaves, you're just kind of moving your brush around on the painting, like a bit of a squiggle effect. And I thought it was a brilliant sort of word for it, scrumbling. Let me know in the comments if you've heard that before, because that was all new to me. But I started off with the Hooker's green, then added in some more yellow ochre. And then I've gone in again with a slightly darker green, just to give a little bit of a shadowed effect to it. And then also using the tip of my brush, I dabbed in a few little bits around the side to look like little leaves on the outside of the tree. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got a little bit of a shadow underneath, So mixing up a little bit of dark again. The suggestion of a trunk, and then also just a few little branches within the tree. Like I said, nothing too detailed, just the suggestion of a tree on that bank. And then what I'll do next is I'll put in 2 different or 3 sort of different trees that have got a different shape to them to add a little bit of variety. Still using the same green variety of green mixtures. Now I'm sure there's a type of tree that this is called. There's a name for it, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But they're like those pointy trees where the branches kind of stick up. But yeah, they're quite fun to paint. So I thought I'll put a few of these in. And again, just using the same kind of movements with my brush, adding in a bit of shadow on the side of them to make them look a little bit more realistic. I've speeded up this section just where I'm adding in a few more of these trees. Some of them a little bit lighter, so they look like they're behind, and then some bushes on the left-hand side. Now I'm going to put in some reflections in the water. So as we mentioned earlier, now we've got the trees in place, we can see what kind of colours we need to be putting into that water. I'm still using the Hooker's Green with just a few different variations of the colour. And I'm using my small round brush just to sort of drag the paint down from the bank and then into the water. So varying the colours and using slightly lighter colours and darker consistencies just to give some variety to it. And then what I'll do is I'll put a little bit more water on my brush and then encourage those down further so they don't look quite so stripy. So I decided that we'd needed just a touch more of a darker colour as well on the edge of the bank. So I put in a few little suggestions of stalks or grasses, or just to add some texture to it. And these are a bit of a darker mixture, so they stand out a little bit more. But I think the painting is nearly finished now. We've got most of our elements there. So the cloudy sky, the water with the reflections, some foliage. We've created the distance on the right hand side with those trees being a little bit further back. And I think to finish off the painting, I might just put a few little birds in the sky because I think they look quite cute. And that'll be it for our little landscape sunset today. So the final touch then is a really dark mixture of indigo with burnt sienna, still using the same small round brush and just adding in a few tiny little flicks to look like little birds in the sky area. And there's the finished painting. So I found that really relaxing painting that, but I always do when I use my sketchbook. And afterwards I always think, why haven't I used my sketchbook more recently? So I'm going to try and finish off the sketchbook, the last 3 pages, and get it done. Thank you ever so much for watching. It's been lovely to have you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.